So back in 2015, when President Trump first ran for office, he was asked during one of the debates what were his thoughts on the former president, Bill Clinton, to which he replied he believed he was a pretty nice guy, but he also believed that he would be having some problems coming up regarding that infamous island, the Epstein Island. And Trump was also on video years ago calling that island a cesspool. So in my mind, I'm thinking, if I'm Trump and I know that I'm some kind of way corruptly tied to this island that was tied to human and child sex trafficking, why would I want to bring attention to it? Because at that time, the media wasn't even talking about Epstein, and the majority of people now didn't even know who Epstein was or about the island. But now you have the Democrats trying to tie President Trump to the island. I guess they said after everything else they've tried has failed, now they're on to the next thing. You know, they ran that narrative, the Russia collusion hoax narrative in the media for months and months. Hillary Clinton, who lost to him back in 2016, bitterly went on a lot of bought and paid for liberal news shows and talk shows claiming how Trump was illegitimate and how he colluded with Russia to win the 2016 election. You know, she was reportedly behind that 48 million taxpayer dollars trying to frame President Trump colluding with Russia in order to win the election. And then when the Durham report came out and evidence was found that that was all false, and they knew it was false before they tried to drum it up, the media was crickets. Interesting. And I'm just wondering why they're not interested in covering Bill Clinton, because reportedly he went to that infamous island a record-breaking number of times, 28 times. But they don't seem to be interested in him. And his wife is tied to so much corruption. In my opinion, they're the modern day Ahab and Jezebel couple. I mean, she was tied to Haiti, Benghazi, Libya, and the U.S., just to name a few. Yeah, but the media don't seem to want to talk about that. And she's still able to go on those bought and paid for liberal shows and spew her false information without even being questioned about all of the corruption she's been tied to. Interesting. And my thing is, if Democrats were so interested in this Epstein situation, they had the former 4 years under the corrupt senile president to investigate it. But they didn't even bring it up. You know, the former corrupt senile president who they gave the boot to last year, whose own daughter reportedly in her diaries claimed that she had to wait for him to fall asleep so that he wouldn't jump in the shower with her at 11 years old. But the Democrats don't seem to be interested in that story. Just like they weren't interested in the story about who left the cocaine at the White House. Just like they weren't interested in the Hunter laptop story when they tried to blame that on Russia too, claiming it was Russian disinformation. 51 intelligence agents signed off saying it was Russian disinformation, knowing that it was indeed not Russian disinformation. But they didn't want to talk about that. And now that President Trump is calling for the Department of Justice to investigate the former President Bill Clinton and his ties to Epstein, I'm sure the next story is going to be how Trump is seeking political retribution, because now the cover is being pulled off of them and they're being exposed. Just like a KKK member that has the sheet on their head, you take the cover off. Oh, by the way, the Democrats were behind that terrorist organization too. But once you take that cover off of their head, you see that everything that they tried to accuse Trump of, they themselves are guilty of. And they're nothing more than a cabal of corrupt crooks.